Hello everybody and welcome to the West Ham Way YouTube channel. You already know who I am. This is Game Changers, where I cover the opposition's biggest strength, the opposition's biggest weakness, as well as West Ham's own. And it is a tough game against Aston Villa on Monday night. I believe it will be competitive. Villa are going to come with a high press. They're going to use Jack Grealish to try and entice West Ham's defenders out of position. It's going to be tough, but Villa do leave massive gaps on that transition, particularly when West Ham look to move from defence to attack. And I believe they'll struggle to maintain a defensive structure. Let's get into it. Let's get into who I think is going to be a key man for West Ham United. Michail Antonio. Listen, we've missed him. There's absolutely no denying that he's our first choice striker. The pace, his ability to hold up the ball and take pressure off West Ham's back five at times. He can get in behind. He can link up play with the two wingers either side of him. When you look at Aston Villa this season, they've conceded a number of goals, particularly from counter-attacks. And Michail Antonio is primed for that type of offence. And I just look at West Ham. At times, it's going to be tough for the likes of Souček and Rice, particularly to come out of transition, to pick up the ball and to attack Aston Villa. I expect them to sit a little bit deeper. So we are looking at that forward three in order to be mobile enough to carry the ball and absolutely exploit the space that Villa will leave in behind. Michail Antonio, listen, I think he's going to find space in this game. I've seen Villa, when they've sat a little bit deeper, and when they've allowed teams to come onto him, it doesn't happen very often, but it did happen a little bit against Brighton when they began to push them back. They can revert to a very narrow back four, but it will leave space for the wing-backs to get up, support Michail Antonio, and hopefully West Ham can get a goal through him. Now, Sebastian Haller could start against Aston Villa, particularly as we're not sure about Michail Antonio's fitness. I think he's shown elements of his game against Sheffield United where he's dropping deeper, picking up the ball, and he's showing a better awareness of the wingers around him in Jarrod Bowen and Pablo Fornals. I just believe Antonio's raw pace, his power, and obviously the ability to link up with those wingers as well is what clinches it for me. I'd love to see him back in the starting 11. I'm sure we all would, and fingers crossed that is the case. But let's look at West Ham's weak point. And this isn't necessarily a criticism of him as a player, because I do think he's come in this season and done fantastically, but it is Fabian Balbuena. And the reason why I've selected him as a little bit of a weak point for West Ham is purely because of the pressure that Villa are going to put on that left-hand side. You've got the likes of Matt Target is going to push up. They push both fullbacks up, but the left-hand side in particular, you're going to have Jack Grealish coming off that left, coming central, trying to force Balbuena out of position. You're going to have Ollie Watkins, a natural left footer, coming off to that left-hand side and trying to peel in behind. It's going to be a really, really tough game for Balbuena. One thing we've seen from him, he does struggle with pace. If West Ham try and press Villa a little bit, you've got the likes of Watkins, Grealish can get on behind. They've added Traore into that kind of attacking midfield role as well. It's going to be a tough game for him, but he has to be patient. Against Tottenham, he got beaten by Son. It's not the worst thing in the world, but he has got beaten by Sterling against Manchester City, Jota against Liverpool. He struggles with players that want to play in behind. And I just worry down that left-hand side with Grealish, with the ability he has in order to contribute and get it to the forward man in Watkins, that we could be exploited and they could break our strong defence. And I think across our entire back line, we've been really solid this season, but Balbuena maybe has an error in him. And I would worry. But listen, I'm not going to write him off. I just think aerially he's very, very good. So I'm not going to fully criticise him, but it is that element of Aston Villa's play that I think they'll get a little bit of joy out of West Ham. But let's look at Aston Villa. Let's look at their danger man. Needs no real introduction. I've kind of already touched on it. It is Ollie Watkins. Fantastic signing. The player that I wish West Ham had signed from Brentford in the summer. Like I've said in the preview, this player isn't just a man that can run in behind, that can stretch defences. He can come deep. He can draw West Ham out of position. He's fantastic in the air. He scored 2 headed goals against Arsenal. His positioning within the box, particularly from deliveries, is really, really good. He's a fantastic all-round striker. And the mobility that he has to kind of move off that central line, come wide, create overloads in certain areas is going to be what's incredibly problematic for West Ham. And I'm looking at someone like Declan Rice to try and nullify him a little bit. It is going to be tricky, particularly for both Rice and Souček, if they play a double pivot and sit a little bit in a low block to stop the likes of Ollie Watkins getting in behind. I think West Ham in the past, particularly with low blocks, have shown we've been successful. Against Manchester City, I thought we were very, very positive. We were very good. The issue is as the game draws on, as West Ham maybe look to get 3 points if it is at a draw, I just worry a little bit about someone like Ollie Watkins because he has that pace, the ability to link up with Jack Grealish. I think West Ham have benefited massively from Ross Barkley's injury in this game. I don't think him being in the side is going to give too many more options to the likes of Watkins. But we've seen from Watkins, he just needs one chance. If he can play on the shoulder of the defence, particularly on someone like Balbuena, he can get a shot off, and his finishing this season has been very, very positive as well. So he is someone that massively concerns me. Again, like I've said, you're looking at Declan Rice to try and nullify him a bit, push him a little bit deeper. It goes the same for those on that left-hand side and for their midfielders, and it is going to be tricky because of the Villa press, but particularly the likes of Grealish, particularly of Watkins. If West Ham can force them into deep areas, to pick up the ball from their centre-backs, they can't hurt us there. And I would back West Ham in terms of that defensive line to be solid. But nonetheless, I do think Villa will have chances in this game. And I do massively worry about Fabian Balbuena becoming a little bit impatient and trying to win the ball off the new man for Aston Villa. But let's look at a weak area, and an area that I do believe West Ham can exploit. Now, this isn't really a typical choice. I've got to be completely honest when I selected this. Of course, I had him in mind as one of the most dangerous players. And there's no denying Jack Grealish is their most dangerous player. He can create, he can come deep, he can pick the ball up, he can distribute the ball very well. He's got a great shot from outside of the box, really positive in terms of delivery. Probably regretting a little bit as a weak area. But what I want to go into is his defensive work. And it's something that's been picked up by a number of pundits and Premier League fans as well. Down that left-hand side, Matt Targett's going to push up. And Villa really rely in terms of trying to beat the counter and trying to stop teams breaking on them for both the wingers to support each other. And ultimately, I just think with that left-hand side, particularly with Targett, he doesn't get that support from Grealish in the same way that, Matty Cash gets that support from Trezeguet. So I'm kind of looking at it as an area that West Ham can exploit a little bit. And it isn't obviously because Grealish is a bad player, but just in terms of that defensive work rate and the kind of fluidity of position that Dean Smith gives to Jack Grealish, maybe it's an area that West Ham can really hurt them. I'll be looking particularly at West Ham throughout this game in transition to push up Arthur Masuaku, to push up Soufal. Jared Bowen as well, I do believe, has got a big role in this game, both defensively and offensively. You'd hope, particularly down that left-hand side for Aston Villa, that West Ham can create overloads, break them. I've seen Aston Villa as well in terms of the defensive shape, getting a little bit narrower into that back four. Because it is a back four, overloads are really problematic. And I think West Ham's wing-backs this season have been fantastic going forward. So I'll be looking at that left-hand side of Villa's. Can we exploit it a little bit? Can we nullify Jack Grealish? Can we push him into areas that he doesn't want to be? And I think in some games, when the team pushes back, when they've got a real defensive low block, he does struggle a little bit. So it will be an interesting contest to see. Again, don't mix my words for it. I'm not saying he's at a weak point for Aston Villa, but I just think in terms of that side defensively, it is somewhere that West Ham can look to benefit from. But that was game changers for this week. I'm massively looking forward to the game on Monday. You've got the fans' voice tomorrow from 11 o'clock, where we'll all be discussing the fallout from that Sheffield United game. Looking forward to the Aston Villa and discussing, can West Ham win this game? Can we get 3 wins on the bounce? And then, of course, we've got the watch along on Monday evening, starting from 7:30. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. Make sure you like and subscribe to the West Ham Way YouTube channel as always. Thank you so much for your support. We're getting towards 4,800, which is a massive milestone for me. I think the channel's done really, really well over the past few months. So listen, thank you everyone for watching. And until next time, as always, take care.